Are you looking for the best mini gaming PC? In this video we will look at some of the 5 best mini gaming PC on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description, so make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Number 1. Minisforum 773 aminulisuljahid Lite. Integrated graphics, we hear you cry, and we respond with a resounding yes. The $539.99, £495.20, Minisforum UM773's AMD 680M sits between the integrated graphics of Valve's Steam Deck and the Asus ROG Ally, which as we all know by now are very capable little machines. The 680M is allowed to perform at its best because of the inclusion of very fast DDR5, which AMD's CPUs and iGPUs work nicely with, and 32 GB of it no less. Though it is not as capable as its younger sibling the 780M, it manages to be slightly more efficient due to its lower power draw, so those working with constrained power budgets will be served here. Esports titles will run well at 1080p and emulation will be no problem at all. Older titles too will, of course, return great performance, so if you're not too fussed about the latest AAA games, you're sure to have a great time with this seriously handy little machine, especially when paired with the best gaming monitor to get the most out of this mighty box. Whilst the Minisforum Venus 773 aminulisuljahid doesn't offer the same portability as the Deck or Ally, it makes up for it in connectivity with a plethora of ports, making this a very practical little machine. It is also surprisingly upgradable with 2 SODIMM slots, a PCIe 4.0 M.2 slot, and room on the bottom for a 2.5-inch hard drive. You could also connect an eGPU via the USB 4 port if you wanted some extra GPU down the line, as the CPU will age more gracefully than the iGPU. Number 2. Geekom AX8 Pro. The Geekom AX8 Pro packs a lot of power into a very small package, with some of the best specs you'll see in a mini gaming PC. Small, but mighty, the AX8 Pro is formidable enough to make it your primary PC, especially if you're more of a casual gamer, and it manages to look great doing it, too, in a gorgeously sparkling silver design. Did we mention that it's small? The Geekom AX8 Pro is one of the smallest mini PCs that you can buy, measuring just 4.6 by 4.37 by 1.51 inches in size. That's just about small enough to fit in your pocket, and at 1.21 pounds, it's light enough, too. Inside, however, are some serious components, with 2 powerful AMD Ryzen 9 8945HS or AMD Ryzen 7 8845HS gaming CPUs from which to choose. This is a powerhouse machine for the 9 to 5, but gaming performance isn't too bad either, with the AMD Radeon 780M GPU handling 1080p gaming surprisingly well, as long as your expectations are in the right place. During our own tests, and with a 1920 by 1080 resolution and low presets, games such as F1 2024 are more than playable, managing 73 frames per second on average. More intensive games such as Cyberpunk 2077 struggled, however, hitting only 43 frames per second. The beauty of the Geekom AX8 Pro is its design, though. This is a handsome, portable, well-built mini PC with great specs that casual gamers will love, as long as they can deal with some noisy airflow during heavy loads. If you can afford it, the Geekom AX8 Pro will make for a great PC for daily use, although serious gamers will need to look for a machine with a more powerful GPU. Number 3. Corsair One i500. The Corsair One has become a PC design icon since the original debuted in 2017, and we've been fans ever since. As our expert reviewer puts it, if you've dreamed of owning a high-end mini gaming PC, but didn't want the hassle of building one yourself, the Corsair One i500 effectively does this for you and then some. Look at that subtle RGB lighting. The tasteful wooden casing. Oh my god, it even has water cooling. The Corsair One i500 has a footprint of just 187 by 300 mm, and it's gorgeous, with wooden panels flanked by strips of RGB lighting and superb build quality. There's a serious PC inside though, with an Intel Core i9-14900K CPU and a choice of either an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4080 Super or RTX 4090 GPU. Despite the compact sizing, there's no sacrifice in gaming performance. We tested the RTX 4080 Super version, which ran Cyberpunk 2077 at 2560 by 1440 with the Ultra Ray Tracing preset at 106 frames per second, thanks to some help from the frame generation tech and NVIDIA DLSS 3. F123 at 4K with ultra-high settings averaged 94 frames per second in our tests. On the downsides, of which there are few, the 120mm AIO cooler on the CPU doesn't have enough power to enable the Core i9-14900K to hit its peak boost speeds, and it can make quite a lot of fan noise when running games at full load. Otherwise, this is the most beautiful mini gaming PC on our list, perfect if design is your priority no matter the cost. Number 4. Beelink SER6 Gaming Mini PC. AMD's integrated graphics make another showing here with the Beelink SER6. The SER6 has an AMD 660M that is slightly less powerful than the iGPU of the Steam Deck, but the SER6 has 2 extra CPU cores and more power available to it, so you can expect your games and general computing to feel a little snappier. To keep the Ryzen 5 6600U running sweet, there is 16GB of DDR5 RAM, and older and lighter titles such as Minecraft and League of Legends will hum along nicely. You also have good options for expanding your storage and RAM with user 2 SODIMM slots and a PCIe 4.0 M.2 slot, which are user replaceable. Similarly to the Minisforum, there is space for a 2.5-inch drive at the bottom of the SER6 if you want to get silly with the storage and dump all your, legally owned, ROMs for a great little emulation machine. If the included 512GB isn't enough, be sure to check out our best SSD for gaming roundup. An unfortunate flaw here though is the dual fan design. Because the individual fans are smaller, they are much higher pitched than a larger singular fan would be, so when things heat up, it can be a little loud. It's also only a little cheaper at $429, £539, than a 680M equipped mini PC, so you may want to spend an extra bit of cash for the additional CPU and CU cores. Number 5. Blackview MP200. The Blackview MP200 is the ideal mini PC for those who want to spend as little as possible. Its competitive pricing makes it our top cheap option, but that price does mean limitations with performance. Inside the MP200, the Intel Ultra HD graphics hinder gameplay somewhat, to the extent that you'll need to play most in the lowest settings. It's not impossible to play the best PC games, but you may struggle with AAA releases. There are enough ports to add 3 displays with USB 3.2 connectivity, and the storage and RAM can both be doubled if you want to add second modules and upgrade the machine further down the line. We'd recommend the Blackview MP200 if you want one of the cheapest Windows 11 PCs on the market, but if gaming is your priority, then lack of graphics card and cooling will let you down.